Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Sandman. If you don't already know, today we're going to talk about some 3D printing stuff. We're going to talk about the type of the 3D printer that I use, what I've been printing, what has gone wrong with those prints, and how I'm trying to fix them, what's gone right with them, and a few future projects and some other a little sprinkling, little seasoning of what is going on with me because there's some big shit going on. But let's start with the meat of the video. So the printer that I currently am using is a Creality 3D Ender 5 Pro. It's an FDM printer that's fairly large and some would say bulky, but I like it because it'll allow me to print some of the bigger pieces of projects that I want to make. I kind of would like to actually have that Infinite Z axis one, but not right now because there's a big move coming up and I don't want to deal with that right now. Let's talk about what's going wrong with my prints because there's a few things. So, first off, bed leveling for me took far too long. I could not get it leveled how I wanted, and because of that I kind of fucked it up. Oops. And I kind of fucked up the magnetic uh surface that they send you and a little bit of the like plate under it, a tiny bit. Just a corner that I don't really use. So that was my first big problem. But after a bit of well, a good amount of tinkering and trying to get it all figured out and fixed, it got to a point where when I would use it every now and then, it was printing well and it was where it needed to be. But I still have a few other problems with it. And only like one of them has to do with the printer bed. So let's just start off the list of three. The first one is I've had a few projects that have layer shifted on me. It's been very rare that it's happened, but it has happened, and it's probably from either me or one of my parents bumping the table to come down and check on it or do something else in that room. So it's only happened twice. I haven't had a problem with it since I printed those, but it's happened. Now we're gonna go to the the two of the bigger problems I've been having. First off is there's been a good amount of stringing. It's mostly on the infill or between smaller sections of prints, like the small supports on printable sceneries open lock connection points or on their side, on the side openings of those tiles. I've been trying to figure out how to fix it, but there's kind of a bigger issue that I've been having, and it's with my bed adhesion. This has proven to be a far larger inconvenience and problem. I've had multiple prints that have been messed up because of bad bed adhesion. Not all of my prints have been messed up though. Normally, if it does come off the bed, it is at the corners, but the center of the print is normally fine. So it's been salvageable. To fix both of these problems, for the stringing issue, I've been honing in my retraction settings. With the filament that I'm using, I'm pretty sure I have the right temperature setting for it on both the heated bed and the nozzle temp, but I'm probably going to play around with the nozzles temp a little bit if and see if I can't improve on the stringing issue. For the bed adhesion problem, I'm trying to stay away from using a glue stick on my print bed because I've already fucked up one print surface and I don't want to have to buy another one. So I'm very wary of doing that. I'm going to try and print the initial layers a little slower and see if that helps. But the thing that's been kind of weird with it is if I print two pieces at the same time, and you'll see the pieces side by side, one has barely any like curvature to its base. It's nearly perfect, while the other one has major curving on it. Like it fully lifted up on the corners of the bed. So it's a bit of a drastic difference, and I don't know what caused it. So I'm trying to find that out and figure that out. And I know I could just use a raft or a brim, which I have used a brim before, but I don't really want to do that for every single print unless I really, really have to. So I'm trying to find other solutions, like slowing down the initial layer speed prints or changing the print temperature of the initial layer so it sticks better. And I'm trying different methods basically. But there is a silver lining to all of these problems. Most of the things that I have messed up are terrain pieces for tabletop games. Most of them have been where they have messed up is the bases or the bottom of walls. Only a few of the things that I've printed are kind of essential office things for me, like paint and tool holders for miniature painting, which was one thing that I started right when I got my printer and I got the bed leveled. Out of about 35 parts, I would say only about 5 of them failed to print correctly because of warping, or there might have been slight layer shifts, and it also might have been a little bit of too hot for that temperature or for that filament. And I think most of those issues were because of my inexperience with 3D printers. Also, most of the failures are on the bottom of the bases for the terrain. So the terrain is still usable because who's going to look at the bottom of the base of a terrain piece? Especially if you put that piece of terrain in the middle of a room. So, speaking of rooms and terrain, let's talk about some future projects that I want to make with 3D printing. I know with my FDM printer, I want to make a lot of stuff for tabletop games like Warhammer, D&D, Savage Worlds. Right now it'd be mostly terrain because FDM doesn't do that well in my opinion with minis. Maybe it's just something I'm messing up in settings, but I don't think it does that well. I know it can, but it's also a lot of cleanup. So I'm hoping like at some point to maybe get a Lego Mars or Elegoo. I think it's Elegoo. Yeah, Elegoo Mars, Saturn, or is it Elegoo Saturn? I don't know. Whatever the kind of bigger resin printer is. At some point, I want to get one of them so I can do minis. But right now, I'm sticking with terrain. And the main terrain sets that I want to make and I want to work with are printable sceneries terrain sets because I like how they sculpt their buildings and the different tiles and the different sets that they have for Warhammer and D&D and stuff. And I just like the way that things are done with certain buildings. And they also just finished up a Kickstarter called Hagglethorn Hollow, which I kind of want to work on printing off some of those models for the tabletop. And like I said, I just think printable scenery does a lot of things that make it easier to like create a city or larger areas of play for players. Kind of speaking on larger things there are some bigger projects that I want to work on with at least some 3D printed parts. Or they might also be fully 3D printed. I don't really know right now. A couple of them are the Hylian shield from Legend of Zelda and the Master Sword. A few kind of not really workable guns, but guns that have parts that move and stuff from Halo and other video games. And some Pokemon statues, like Buff Pikachu or Thor Pikachu. Plus whatever else I can find on Thingiverse that I feel like printing off or something that I design myself. So for me, that's what the future of 3D printing looks like currently. Once I fix my issues and get those all resolved, I will start working on bigger projects and you guys will have a video to follow along. Maybe multiple videos. I don't know right now. Cuz right now basically everything is thrown up in the air because probably within like a month I am going to be moving 1,000 miles away for a job that I really want to do well in and I really want right now. So before I move, I'm going to try and make at least 2 to 3 videos. I might start working on videos with older footage. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now. This is going to be the final video for this month, and next month I'm going to be putting out two like more gaming focused videos. One is going to be a kind of heavily edited, sped up Resident Evil Zero video with my basically showcasing kind of my annoyance with the game and why I don't really care for the game. The other is probably going to be an update talking about whatever I can, basically telling you about the job that I'm going to be working at. I won't be able to tell you what I'm working on, but I will tell you where I'm working at, and we'll give you an update on that. The second video was going to be about scope and like the scope of a personal project that I am working on, but that's kind of gone out the window for now. That might be a little bit later I show that, but I kind of want to talk about the move and show some probably do probably do a little bit of B-roll with the move and all that. So yeah, that's really all I got, guys. And with all that said, I hope you guys have a great day and do all that bullshit that everybody tells you to do. Like, subscribe, turn on the bell, all that shit. Also, I have a Patreon that I have set up kind of just as an extra thing. And right now that the Patreon has the script for this video plus an early edit that went up a day the before this video actually went live because I with everything going on with the move and the job, I kind of threw this video on the back burner, but I wanted to start keeping a schedule along with my regular work. So yeah, the Patreon will have early ver- early versions of all my videos that I'm making and the script for every video that is relying on a script or every narrative video that I am making will have a script on the Patreon. So, yeah, can't think of anything else that I want to talk about right now. So, that's going to be it, guys. Peace.